What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 21. So Game Week 21 has turned out to be a pretty bad game week for a lot of managers. The Trent injury, the Bowen injury has really punished those early transfers, but luckily I wasn't in that case, so I still have two transfers to deal with it. So Heung-min Son, Mo Salah, as you guys know, have gone to the Asia Cup and AFCON. Are we going to replace them this game week, or are we going to bank the transfer? And what's the latest news on Erling Haaland? But don't worry, after a quick review of Game Week 20 and showing you guys where the overall rank is currently, I'll be jumping into that Game Week 21 goodness with the transfer plan and my final team selection. Now please just remember, the deadline is happening on Friday evening. I'll be doing a deadline stream, so if you guys don't remember, just have my notifications on. You'll either get a YouTube or a Twitter notification, or both if you guys choose to have them on. Just please don't forget that Friday night deadline. But if you guys want to see my team selection for the upcoming game week, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So as mentioned, a quick review of Game Week 20. If you guys haven't watched my transfer plan, I go over this in a lot more detail if that's what you guys are after. But for the team selection, I generally go position by position and show how many points I got. So in terms of the overall points, a massive 102 points was scored, one of the best game weeks of my FPL career, definitely this FPL season, with a game week rank of 47k. So 102 points for 102k in terms of the overall rank, and overall points of 1,200 on the dot, which is quite nice to look at. So in terms of Game Week 20, we almost kind of halved our rank. Hopefully for you guys, it was a great game week as well. Comment down below how many points you guys scored and where you're sitting in the overall ranks. Now in terms of my transfer plan for the upcoming game week, 2 free transfers and 5.8 million left in the bank, so some big upgrades can be made if need be. I'm going to start off on our bench this week, and the bench was pretty interesting, starting off with those Dubravka 8 points. Now Newcastle played one of the first games of the game week, so a lot of our goalkeepers that we started hadn't featured. So seeing those 8 points on the bench was pretty bad. Now that was thanks to a penalty save from my captain Mo Salah. Luckily that Dubravka didn't save the second one, otherwise I would have been crying. So an 8-point appearance is absolutely massive. He was just making so many saves. What I generally hoped from this performance was the fact maybe Eddie Howe looks at him and says, this is our goalkeeper for the future, or at least till Nick Pope's back. So I guess time will tell, but we are in the January transfer window, so if Newcastle do sign a goalkeeper, that's going to be pretty worrying. But I do believe Dubravka's done enough to win the spot. At least the rest of my bench didn't score too many points. Saliba on 0 points, even though he featured, got a yellow card, also conceded a few. Lascelles came back from injury, played about 8 minutes. And then finally Archer was also benched, which was quite a surprise, and that's why I only got 1 point. Now if you guys are playing Archer this week, don't worry. It seems like most kind of Sheffield United fans are saying that this was kind of a once-off. He'll definitely be playing, so don't worry if you guys want to start him. So we spoke about those Dubravka 8 points. Well, actually Areola, our starting goalkeeper, scored more than that, and he scored a massive 11. So it was literally just thanks to Areola that we got into the 100 club mark, because West Ham took on Brighton as the last game of Game Week 20, and we needed 9 points to get in there. So what does he go and do? Gets the clean sheet, a few bonus points, as well as some save points, take him to a massive 11. Now I mentioned this on my ultimate guide yesterday, but Areola at the moment is providing the best goalkeeper option. What's happening is West Ham are conceding quite a bit of XG, a lot of long shots, and because Areola is saving them, he's racking up the clean sheets and the save points. So I know it's a little bit of a weird metric, but almost going for a goalkeeper from a bad defense can turn out good, like you guys are seeing with Areola at the moment. Unfortunately, it didn't translate to our backline. We've got Konza with 0 points, also picking up a yellow card and goals conceded. Pedro Porro lost their clean sheet late into that fixture, which was pretty bad, and then Gabriel, obviously like Saliba, lost their clean sheet. So what's insane is that we still scored a massive 102 points, got into the 100-point club with no returns from our defense. Yes, that's right, the midfield was absolutely clutch. So let's showcase those points. The first player is going to be Mo Salah, the captain for this game week, 16 double to 32. And what an emotional roller coaster as a Liverpool fan, as well as a Salah captain. So you guys know he missed the penalty to start off the game. They managed to get a goal, assist, then another penalty, wrapping up with 3 bonus points and taking him to 16. So imagine he actually scored that first penalty. It might not have been the knock-on effect for the other returns, but squeezing in an extra goal here would have been absolutely insane. But all I'm happy about is that he outperformed someone like a Foden and an Alvarez, who were the other popular options, and going with the gut of Salah was actually worth it. The rest of midfield also performed. Saka, Son both got a goal, Son just racking up a few extra bonus points. Palmer had a massive game week, 2 goals and an assist, exactly the same as Salah, minus the penalty miss, and that's why he's sitting on a massive 18 points. Then finally, the new transfer in was going to be Phil Foden for his 12-point appearance, outperformed Alvarez, which you love to see, but I might be slightly worried about not going for Alvarez for the future game week with Erling Haaland out. But as you guys can see, the biggest thing in the midfield department got us returns. Hopefully your midfield was as good as mine. Then finally up front, not as climatic, Ollie Watkins racking up 2 assists, taking him to 8 points. Solanke ended up blanking only the 2-point appearance, but he racked up a lot of XG in this fixture. But overall, as a conclusion, you guys can see the midfield department, definitely the clutch department of our team, with the forwards and the defenders not exactly pulling their weight. But comment down below, how was your game week? Was it better than mine? I've seen some 106 points, even some 112s, but unfortunately also a few red arrows, which I hope you guys didn't get. How's that overall rank looking at the start of this season? Are you guys hoping for massive improvement over the business end of the season? Generally, we always clutch up here. But now let's head on to the actual transfer plan for this upcoming game week. As mentioned, 2 free transfers, 5.8 million left in the bank. So quite a big upgrade can be made, or we can split it over 2 transfers. Now the biggest injury news this week is definitely going to come from hopefully a Friday press conference or a Thursday press conference from Pep Guardiola. I doubt he comes out and says that Erling Haaland is back fit and will definitely start, but if he does, obviously I'll be looking to bring in the Norwegian. But at the current moment, no concrete news. As I said, I don't think Pep's going to come out and give us anything. And that's why I think I'm going to delay the Haaland transfer to next week. Also, please just remember that Game Week 21 is split over 2 weekends. The first weekend, half the teams play, and the second weekend, the rest of them play. So massive gap between the Game Week 21 deadline and the Game Week 22 one. Also want to put this out there because it's quite integral to your chip strategy. Between Game Weeks 21 and Game Week 22, we have the FA Cup next round as well as the League Cup semi-finals concluding. So before Game Week 22, I'll have a lot more insight into the doubles and the blanks. So if you guys can actually bank a transfer this week, I might suggest doing that. I don't think many people will be able to, but if you guys can, might be advantageous. As mentioned, a ton of information before Game Week 22. So in terms of my current team now, without Erling Haaland and looking to bring him in, I am looking to actually replace both my big hitters, and let's start off with Heung-min Son. So if you guys saw the kind of news about Jared Bowen, he's going to potentially miss Game Week 21. They have Sheffield United away, a very nice fixture. And as mentioned in the Ultimate Guide, if Jared Bowen's not fit for Game Week 21, I wouldn't bring him in from Game Week 22 onwards anyways. So my favorite replacement for Son and Salah unfortunately is out the window. I won't be bringing in the West Ham striker at the moment, and therefore I'm going for more punt options. So the first option I want to talk about is going to be Richarlison. So yes, a like-for-like switch here, going from Son to Richarlison is a little bit of a downgrade, but that explains the price difference. I just feel like even though Timo Werner's just signed for the club, I believe that Richarlison, it's his place to lose, in great form at the moment, and I still like that Spurs attack. Now the fixtures might not be that great on paper, United, Brentford and then Everton, but I still believe that Richarlison can do quite well here, and he is playing out of position. So if you guys watch my Ultimate Guide, would heavily suggest you guys go watch that. Richarlison's points per 90 minutes is pretty strong, and that's why I considered him my second favorite option. So this transfer does look pretty likely. I think that out of the other options remaining, I already own someone like a Phil Foden. With Bowen out injured, I feel like Richarlison's the best option or the next best option, and that's why this move looks pretty comfortable. The only thing I will say about this potential kind of blank game week coming up is that Spurs potentially could blank in Game Week 26, and therefore I'm bringing in a player that might blank quite soon. So that's the only reason I might be looking at Richarlison and might think otherwise, but I guess Game Week 26 is quite far into the future, and if he scores his FPL points now, he'll be worth it. So that's one free transfer ticked off. Will the next free transfer also be for a punt option, and it'll be to replace the Egyptian Mo Salah. Now I should have put this out there, if Erling Haaland is back, I will be selling Mo Salah before Heung-min Son, as I don't have enough capital to upgrade Archer to Haaland without downgrading Salah for a nice option. Yes, I could go for Son out and go for a cheaper option, but I don't really like anyone at that price bracket. So just to clarify, if Haaland's back, Salah will be the first to go. But at the current moment with Haaland out potentially still injured, I'll be replacing Son and Salah, and my Salah replacement is going to be Diogo Jota. So yes, we've gone from Spurs to Spurs, now we're going to go from Liverpool to Liverpool. The big thing about Liverpool though is they do play tonight in the League Cup first round, and their semi-finals against Fulham. Now my only concern with Jota is going to be game time. Just came back from an almost long-term injury. It seems like he's been coming off the bench quite a bit. If he starts tonight and gets subbed early after a good performance, he's basically locked into my team. But as you guys would have seen in the kind of League Cup and the FA Cup, even just training this week, a lot of injuries have happened, so fingers crossed Jota comes out unscathed. Now in terms of fixtures, definitely not the kind of best side of things. Bournemouth have been defending well, we have Chelsea and Arsenal, but Diogo Jota is almost fixture proof, and he's just playing great at the moment. The other added factor is even though Trent is out, I still believe that Liverpool will attack pretty well. Definitely one of the best attacks in the Prem. So my two replacements for Son and Salah are going to be Jota as well as Richarlison. I think you guys might agree that these are the best options I can go for. The only other option I'm looking at is potentially Gross from Brighton. I like him as a potential option coming up. The blanks don't look as kind of secure for that Brighton side. And as you guys know, the Brighton fixtures are looking pretty decent. So don't be surprised that maybe Gross replaces a Jota or Richarlison come that GW21 deadline. But at the moment, I like these two assets. But comment down below, do you guys like these moves? Is there another replacement I'm missing out on? Are you guys replacing Son and Salah this week or taking a -4 hit? What are your transfer plans for GW21? But now let's go on to that GW21 team selection with those transfers made. As mentioned, I haven't made them as of now. I'm probably going to wait for those Thursday press conferences as well as those Friday press conferences and make the transfers in the deadline stream coming up late on Friday night. But let's just assume that we make those moves. Let's go over that team selection, starting off with the bench. And the bench this week pretty much kind of picks itself. So Dubravka has Man City at home. Now, while I think that Newcastle might put on a good show, they haven't been defending well at the moment, and therefore I'm perfectly fine benching Dubravka with that fixture. Same could be said about Lascelles, but with Konza at Everton away, that's a bit of an easier game, but I still prefer my starting defenders. Then finally, Archie against West Ham at home, not the worst fixture in the world, but I do still back my goalkeeper Areola, and they obviously play each other. So Areola this week has a great fixture on the cards. I'm really hoping for another clean sheet from him, as this is pretty much the best fixture to have from a defensive point of view. So save points might not be there, but at least the clean sheet points might be secure, but you never know with West Ham. Our next defender is going to be Pedro Porro against United. They have been attacking slightly better, finding a little bit more form. And with all those Spurs injuries at the back, I'm a little bit worried about their clean sheet. But what do we always say about Pedro Porro? We don't own him for the clean sheets, we own him for the attacking returns. So fingers crossed he can pull off a masterclass this game week. A little bit more confident about my next two, the double up of Gabriel and Saliba. They have the best odds for a clean sheet in GW21, so surely this is the time that my double Arsenal defense returns. Also with Elise injured, a little bit of a boost to that clean sheet odd, so fingers crossed they both return. Now midfield apartment, I'm going to start off with our transfers in. The Salah replacement Jota has Bournemouth away. Yes, even though Bournemouth have been defending well at the moment, I still believe Liverpool can do pretty well, but all eyes on Jota tonight in that League Cup semi-final. Then our Son replacement Richarlison is going to face United away. You guys know United's form hasn't been good. I'm expecting a lot of goals in this fixture, so hopefully Richarlison's involved. Then Saka at Crystal Palace at home. Hopefully not going to be crying at the end of this, as that Arsenal form hasn't been great, and overall Saka is in a little bit of bad form. Now you guys will notice the big thing is that I don't have the Kamsi armband on Saka, probably the most popular option this week, but I'm going to be going for someone else, and his name's Cole Palmer. So yes, we're going to be going for the colder side of London. He has Fulham at home, which is a better fixture in my opinion. And even though he didn't play well last night in the Carabao Cup semi-final, I'm still backing Palmer to do well. But I think Kamsi this week is probably the hardest decision to actually go for. Once I get my Salah replacement and my Son replacement, the Kamsi is really up in the air. And I can honestly see myself captaining anyone in the midfield department. But at the current moment, I'm feeling Palmer a little bit more, and that's why I've got the Kamsi armband on him. So let's hope he pitches up. Then the final option is going to be Phil Foden. I definitely could see myself even captaining Phil Foden if Kevin De Bruyne is out and Erling Haaland's out. But I do worry about a potential kind of subbing early into the second half. Now you guys know all about Newcastle, at the current moment the worst defense over the last 6 game weeks. But at home they might actually put up a bit of a shield against City. But still perfectly fine owning Phil Foden. As I mentioned, the only concern is going to be Kevin De Bruyne coming off on the 60th minute. But I guess he might be sub for Alvarez then. Then our final department, the forwards, our first forward Dom Solanke picked up a knock, missed the FA Cup. But because they play the second weekend, I'm confident of him recovering from that. And he has Liverpool at home without Trent. So I guess you guys can play Solanke if you are a Trent owner with no kind of bad karma. You can hope that Bournemouth score and Dom Solanke is involved, as Bournemouth's attack has been pretty good. Then finally, Watkins against Everton away might be an outside Kamsi punt that most people are avoiding. Aston Villa's attack is rock solid this season, and Ollie Watkins has been almost a talisman. Everton also haven't been the most kind of secure defense at the moment, and that's why I think he might be overlooked as a Kamsi option. But still perfectly fine owning him, a very popular option amongst the higher ranks, so no differential points are going to come from him. But as you guys can see from a whole with those 2 free transfers made, keeping the 3-5-2 system, my only concern is next week if I am looking to bring in Erling Haaland, we're going to have a massive 8 attackers with good fixtures, so the benching headaches might be quite bad. But comment down below, if this was your team, would you make these transfers? Do you think Richarlison and Jota are the best replacements, or do you think that maybe a Gross from Brighton is going to be better? And if you are having any troubles with your own team selection, comment down below and I'll try to get back to you. Just a reminder though about the deadline stream coming up 1 hour before the deadline on Friday evening. Please don't miss the deadline. This is the business end of the season. But this is basically gonna wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. I'll be seeing you guys for maybe a future video or the future deadline stream. GW21 proves to be an interesting one. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.